It's time for the HabNormals podcast. All Habs, all the time. Hockey's back, people. The Habs hockey is back, and we've had 2 preseason games already. So main camp has opened, and the games have started, and we're going to talk about a bunch of things. I think based on those 2 games going into the season. So we're going to take a look at the Habs power play. We are going to take a look, obviously, at Laine Hutson, and he was in one of the games, and Patrik Laine as well. Both were in the same game together. We are going to take a look at 2 hopefuls that are trying to earn a job in camp, and that's Oliver Kapanen and Owen Beck. And if there's any time, we don't run too long, we will take we're going to answer or try to answer the question of after 2 games, and this guy is the only player that played in the 2 games. Is Logan Mailloux ready to crack the NHL lineup? It's an early kind of take on this because there's still 4 games left in camp. Camp goes on for another week and a half, I think. And then they have a few days break, and then they start the season on the 9th of October. So, we'll try to answer that question if we can. Obviously, we can't, but we'll give you our opinions. And we'll ask early on here for anything that we're going to talk about here. If you have an opinion, leave a comment in the comment section and let us know how you feel about it. And we will answer it. If you have any questions for future podcasts, especially now that the season is on and we're going to be doing this every week, just let us know in a comment, or there's an email in the description of this podcast. Send an email there and let us know. All right, so we are going to start. By the way, I've got there he is. My podcast partner, Matt Norton, over there. And you can reach him near his Twitter handle. And I just talked over him, but he said hi. All right, we're going to start off with the Habs power play. So I should say in the offseason, power play coach Alex Burrows decided to spend more time with his family. That's what he said, right? So he's no longer with the team except as a consultant, I think, something like that. They have not hired a new power play coach. So the reason being, it was let known that Marty St. Louis, who was kind of co-coaching the power play last season with Burrows, is going to take over that role as the power play coach and the head coach. And so with that in mind, the power play in the first 2 games of the preseason did not look any better. It did not. Even in the first game with Laine Hutson quarterback in the first one, right. But you got to say also first game. Well, you got to say first game.
But I mean, they got a lot of, like, Patrik Laine he shot the puck a ton, especially on the power play.
I didn't see how many shots he had.
They didn't score, but they were generating a lot. They just didn't score.
Yeah, well, okay. So they had 3 attempts in the first game and 8 last night. So they're 0 for 11. Let's see now. So here's a thing that I wanted to bring up, and I only saw this today because I did not know this, and I just showed it to Matt just before we started to record. So since the 2011-2012 season, Montreal is last in power play percentage, and that's over 995 games played over those seasons, and for everybody. So they're at 17% there. Now, there's a couple teams down there with them, but Montreal last. So the question I'm asking, and listen, this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, so if you're going to put a comment in after what I'm asking, I'm telling you, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. Is this year's power play fucked already after 2 games? Now, interestingly, I just want to say this. I just saw a Leafs reporter asking the coach, they lost their first 2 posts. Should they panic after losing their first 2 preseason games? Can you believe that? Should they panic after their first 2 preseason losses in a row?
I swear, there's some reporters that need to just turn in their credentials. Like
really? Like, I don't know how. It
no one cares at all if you win or lose these games.
And
no one gives a crap.
And it was a woman, and she's going to give a bad name to all the good female reporters out there that ask good questions. This one did not, and because she's a woman, she's probably going to get eaten up for that. But what a stupid question that was this early.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm not serious when I say it's the power play fuck, because it's right. Okay, it's too early to tell. I wrote that question marks. Is it fucked? Is it too early to tell? It's too early to tell, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
way too early. Like, we can't really evaluate it till the first game when, the first regular season game when, everyone's on there, and
not even
who knows? Maybe they try different quarterbacks. Like I said, I mean, with Hutson and Matheson, you could try different things. Like, you don't know until a few, at least a couple of, couple games in. With everyone on there and everyone kind of really gets in the swing of things, that's when you really kind of tell.
Now, give it 5 games at least before you're going to go say, listen, there's something wrong there already, right? So, so I'm not too worried, obviously, but I mean, 11 power plays and you don't get anything. Now, the thing there also is it's two games, 2 different lineups. The power play units are not the full units. So I mean, there's that too.
So the guys that have lineup spots, like, for the most part, I mean, obviously they try, but they're not going full like regular season game mode. Like they're just taking the rust off. Like, you know what I mean?
There's that. Yeah, and we'll see the full power play units as we go along. There are cuts that are happening or have happened already. I'm not sure. I couldn't find anything out. Just saw an article that said that there are cuts going to happen today, which is what I expected. So they'll just sort of, like, I kind of think in the next 2 games against Toronto, this will be a better lineup, right? A fuller lineup with actual guys that are going to play this season. So, it'll get better. By the time the last game, maybe the last 2 against Ottawa come around, it's pretty much going to be the lineup. There might be a guy or 2 at that time they're still looking at, they're still not decided on. But in general, right? So it'll look a little better against Toronto, I would think, as the units get more cohesive. Is the word I'm going to use. So, so if anybody's out there panicking, though, about the power play, don't. Right?
Yeah,
just don't. There's no reason right now. As we just said, if it's 5 games into the regular season and they still don't have a power play goal, it's not time to panic, but you got to start questioning at that point, right? This is just way too early to tell. Also, I mean, the coach, he's trying to develop the units, right? So he's got to look and see, the first couple of games, they're kind of evaluating some of the people they're using there, the players, and then they're evaluating what they're gonna, I guess, teach these guys. I don't know. I would think with the players that are in camp, with the players that are going to make the team out of camp, the players that are in the top 6 that are going to be, you got to think that this power play is going to get better starting this season.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know what you're looking at, but
no, I'm trying to see if there were roster cuts. I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, no, but the roster cuts aren't going to be anything big. Don't worry about it. It's going to be the fringe players that are going to get cut at this point, right? So I wouldn't. They're not important enough. I tried to find them, but they're not that important. I don't really have anything to add on the power play except that it's nothing to worry about, right? It's just nothing to worry about at this point. It's just that it's out there. People are talking about it. I thought we'd lead off with that because that's going to lead us into, since Matt is not mad, to the next topic, and that is the guy who is going to be our power play quarterback. I believe starting right away out of the gate when the season starts, first unit power play, it's going to be quarterback by Laine Hutson.
It's got to be. They at least got to try it, man.
Well, one of the reasons for me is because we were just talking about this again before we recorded. Laine Hutson was in the first game. That first game, was not only that it was a blowout kind of Philadelphia, but the excitement on the ice was very different than the second game.
I mean, it was almost palpable. Like every time he had the puck, it's like you're on your edge of your seat going, what's he going to do? 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 Right?
Yeah,
like
but just the Laine being there as well. I mean, it was so much more exciting that game.
I mean, even Doc too. Like every time I saw Doc on the ice, I love the like.
Yep.
It's coming back from an injury like that. You'd think maybe he'd be a little kind of more conservative in his play, but he looked like the same old Doc. He was aggressive. He was using the body. Like I didn't notice at all if that coming back from an injury like that was affecting him. I don't think it did. Because I think he's ready and raring to get back into.
Yeah, my theory on that is because of how early he injured himself. Yeah. That's at least 2 months or more than most guys who get injured like that during the season. He's had a little bit longer to recuperate than most guys who get, just that. So he's had a good long time. It's not a short time.
And I think you and I kind of talked about it. He's, I think, been skating like the end of the regular season.
He's fully healthy and he's fully ready to go. So I would expect that knee is tip top. Mm-hmm. That's why he looks so good out there. And you know what? Just since we're talking about Doc, it's like some of the fans are going to will this kid to another injury. They're so worried about him being on every hit he takes, or if he shakes his hand because whatever. He's not made of glass, and he probably is not going to get injured. I don't think he's going to get injured. So, but you know what? If we're all there worried and every time he gets hit and all that, we're going to will the injury on the kid. Let's not do that. All right, let's get back to Laine Hutson. First question. Does he make the team? And I think this is a stupid question, but...
A really stupid question.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
But still, it's being talked about. People are, I think he'll make that. He's going to make the team. Right? I mean...
Yeah, it would honestly be like the first time I think you and I would look at the organization and go, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way he doesn't make the team. Like, there's just no way. There's no way.
I don't think it's a question of them rushing him a little bit. Like a lot of people think he needs a little time in the AHL be good for him. I don't see why.
No, I mean, I don't know if I mean, obviously, people listening and watching to this will probably have already, seen that clip of Celebrini and Suzuki talking, and Suzuki talking about how in Hutson's first game last year against Detroit, he was so confident he was calling plays, like he was calling his own plays on the ice. Like I don't think he needs any seasoning in the AHL. I mean, his confidence is off the charts. Like we've seen his skills. He doesn't need the AHL.
I was saying this to Matt before too. That's that confidence for him to in his first ever game in the NHL to call a play is what is going to make him successful this year and in his career. Because I believe he's gonna be a Calder finalist, if not win the Calder trophy. But it's that confidence in himself, that confidence that he can do what he can get it done, I guess, is what that's just going to do him well this year. I think he's got all the confidence in the world. He knows what he can do, and he knows he can do that in the NHL already. And so he comes out with confidence because I don't think it's a question in his own mind. Like a lot of players in their first year, obviously, how's this going to go? He's confident that he's going to do what he sets out to do. And I just love that about this kid.
Oh, yeah.
And what a difference. I think the second game without him, now this team is totally different.
Yeah.
It's so much better, they play so much better, so much more exciting to watch when he's in the lineup.
No, for sure. I don't like using the word boring, but last night just felt a lot more boring. And again, That's not to say that there weren't some bright spots in that game. I mean, I thought Slav had a few very nice passes. Rick, I don't know if you had a chance to finally see that pass,
No, I didn't
back,
get
behind the back pass that he made. I was
No,
talking about on
I
the
didn't.
stream. But no, he looked good out there. I thought Owen Beck had a good game. You know, Mayu, first period and a half ish, 2 periods, and third period he played a lot better. Thought Reinbacher was solid. So there are a lot of things to like about this. Yeah, it's just when Lane Hutson's in the lineup, it's the excitement levels up like 10
Without a doubt.
And you can feel that.
I think if Lane Hutson hadn't had already played now 3 games, say in a Habs uniform, now one's preseason, 2 is regular season. If that hadn't happened yet, last night's game would have been fine, and we would have what a good game and all that. But because the night before Hutson was there and that excitement was really an exciting and fun game to watch, that the next night just felt like a bit of a letdown. And it shouldn't have been, but but
I think honestly too, I think Oliver Kapanen kind of contributed to that as well.
Oh, it wasn't only Lane Hutson.
Right.
I get, and I said Laine too. Laine was exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean absolutely.
We're gonna talk about that.
Lane Hutson's kind of the driving force there. But yeah, I mean we'll get into Kapanen, we'll get into Laine, but yeah, I mean it's that first game was just awesome. I mean, just so awesome.
No, that first game was just so fun to watch. So another question: power play quarterback unit 1. I don't think that's in doubt either. Or do you think it's possible that they'll sort of ease him in on the second unit?
They're probably like my gut tells me they're probably gonna try the first power play unit, like their first go might be Matheson. The second time they might send Hutson out just to kind of see how things are. You know what I mean? Like they might try him on each and see kind of what they the kind of.
No, see, I don't agree with that because I think they're gonna before the game starts, they know what they're gonna do. I personally think that the way Marty coaches, I think he's coming out as the first power play QB right away.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's the move to go. Why? Because the kid's got the confidence. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think he can hurt his confidence. By doing that.
I do agree with you. I do. It does. It makes a lot of sense. Like I said, I don't know. Like, and you know what?
We don't know. But
throughout the rest of the preseason too. I mean, they'll probably again with the lineups. They'll change from game to game. They'll, again, that's where they'll kind of see
preseason. Yeah, preseason. Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
Before. But I think by game 1, no, I think they go. I think it's I think it's Hutson.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Hutson as the first unit QB. I wrote his name here, Laine Hutson. That's gonna be funny.
I mean, the only difference between those two names is the letter I, which is kind of fun.
Yep, and I made that mistake. All right, next thing I'm going to ask you about.
Won't be the first time either.
Is he going to be a Calder finalist, in your opinion?
There's a really legitimate shot, man. Like if he, like we've talked about, if he can somehow hit like that 50-point mark, he might win the thing. As a D-man, he might win it. Like I think there's certainly a legitimate chance he could be a Calder finalist.
Well, I got more balls than you.
The goals is kind of where I'm. He might not score as much as he did. Like might get around 10. Like college, he scored 15 goals a year.
Yeah, okay, but 10
probably get 10. But he's got to rack up so many assists. It's not even funny, and it's not even just primary assists. Like he's got a knack for if he doesn't see anyone open, he's got a knack of just shooting it on net, and it'll just he just shoots it at the right part of you. Like he'll shoot it at a stick, or he'll just shoot it to where it can deflect off something and go in. Like that's just how creative he is. Like he'll turn nothing into something. Like if he's doesn't have anyone open, or if he sees the crash of the net, he'll throw it on, and he just has a knack of putting it in the perfect place where it'll create a chance or a goal. Like it's uncanny how smart that kid is. Like Alex, who's on the Pucking Around podcast, which go check that out. You know, he talked about how Hitchcock
and
Hitchcock sees plays before they happen. And yes, he does. But Lane Hutson does too, man. I saw it so much in college where it was just crazy, where he'd start something and then he'd see a little change and then immediately he knew what to do. Or, you know, like I'd be watching him and I'd try to kind of predict what he would do, which you can't. But and then he just completely had the total different mindset and did something else and it worked. It's just crazy. And he's so good at, again, like if something's not working, like his mind's going like that. And so he can change his thought process on a dime and still create something if his primary option or the primary play doesn't work. Right. And that's just what makes him so dynamic, what makes him so special as a hockey.
And it speaks to his vision, right? His vision is he's got great vision so that when something doesn't work, he already knows where everybody is.
So yeah, like I like to think of it like this, right? Like, you know, some players will have like plan A and plan B. He goes on the ice and he has a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. Like it's crazy. Or at least plan A, plan B, and plan C. Like it's
I don't see it that way. I see it this way, and it's not far off from what you're saying. He goes there, he sees something, that's plan A. He can switch and make a plan B that quick. That's how quick he processes the game. So when that doesn't work,
right? No, that's another way to talk about it. Yeah,
he's got great vision. His head is always up, on a swivel. He knows where everybody is, and he just makes such quick decisions that I think that gets him out of jams. And man, can this guy stick handle and just pull the puck away and go in a different direction from a guy like as fast as anybody I've seen. So I think with that. I think he's just so creative and so fast that, yeah, he can make a plan B, C, and D so quickly. Like, I don't know if he has 4 plans, but I'm sure he
right. I like the way you're
developing. He has them developing while he's trying to do plan A.
And right. I like your explanation better. That's kind of along what I was getting at.
Yeah, I said it's similar.
But yeah, but he's also too. Not even just he's so quick at, like, if you're not watching the puck, if you're trying to watch his body to see, he's so quick at just making the little fakes, and as soon as you move one way, he's gone. Like you can't.
If you're watching the puck with him, he's got you beat already. You can't watch the puck because
no. But if you're watching him too, he's still
hard. It's hard to figure out.
Because he's so quick at moving around. It's like
he's always doing that.
He'll start to go one way, and he's so good at telling it. Yeah, you go to bite on it, and then immediately stops on a dime, turns, digs his edge in, and then he's gone the next way. And now he's got acres. It's crazy how good he is.
Yeah, it is crazy how he makes space for himself. Like you saw the first game. I think the first thing I saw him do against Detroit was he was at the blue line. He made everybody come over to him when he got the pass.
That was on that when Gallagher scored. Yeah, and he made the little move.
No. Oh, yeah. So the pass is on the way. Everybody's moving to him. And he waited. And then as soon as the puck hit his stick, he was off the other way. He had everybody moving one way, and he just went the other way. And he just opened. Skated around and made a play. It's like, yeah, his vision is really good, and the speed that he makes a decision and can figure it out. And it's like chess. In chess, if you're going to be the better player, you think more moves ahead than the other guy, right? Chess is all about thinking how many moves ahead can you think for both players.
No,
right?
And that's
so he's like that.
How hockey is too, right? That's why like a lot of these kids you see nowadays, even guys like Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav, how quick they can process the game. It's like a chess match.
It is. It's how many moves you can have formulating in your mind while you're pulling off one or trying to, right?
Yeah,
I think that's how and these kids today, it's crazy how fast it's the computer games, man. Because you have to think fast when you're playing computer games. And I think kids today, especially, they grew up with that, right? From I saw my first computer game. I was already like 8 or 10, right? And it was Pong, and it was super slow and all that. So but kids today, man, my kids, my youngest grew up with a paddle in his hand. It seemed like, right? So
Yeah, I
it
mean, I
helps
had
you to
game, but
process
like
things
it's
really
even like
fast.
with Xbox now,
Yeah.
like how quick
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
even just how quick manipulating the controller. But yeah, no, it's absolutely
Right. And there's a reason why, like fighter pilots and race car drivers and stuff, they're part of the training is computer games because it gets the mind to process really
yeah.
fast. I think that's what it is. Anyway, um,
No,
yeah,
1,000%. Even now, too, I know a lot of teams use VR to do stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, that's it exactly. Last question on Hutson points prediction. I'll give mine first because I got mine out there already. So if you've seen my video, I've got a points prediction video for the Habs. I went with 10 goals, 45 assists for 55 points. And I'm going to say this, I think I'm on the low side.
Honestly, I'm right there with you. I had 10 goals and 40 assists for 50 points.
Yeah, and I think I'm on the low side to be honest. Could be. I'm not 100 like, but I think he could get more than that.
I think I'm on the low side. I think you could be spot on. But
And
yeah,
from
again, because it's so many he's so good at creating stuff. He gets so many secondary assists. It's not even
going
funny.
to have so much opportunity to pick up assists. So much opportunity because we've got talent on that top six. There's goal scorers there. There's point production going to come from that. He's going to be on the ice
especially
a
if he
lot.
hits him with the saucer pass like he did in that practice. I mean,
He's got all kinds of tools. I mean, with the tools this kid
that
has.
saucer pass was insane. Insane.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that.
Oh my God. I saw that. I'm like,
but now this
oh
was
my
in
God,
an
in the regular season, if he hits Caulfield Sues with those, I mean, they're goals.
Yeah, it was an inter-squad game, so you can give that. But if you haven't seen it, he was trying to come up, I think, on the right side along the boards. Player came in, stopped him. He swung around the other way. And as he's going around the net and then going around, the boards there, head up the whole way, he just makes this saucer pass to Heineman just before, and it lands. It rolls the stick,
That's
tape
the
to
craziest
tape.
thing about it. I mean, it landed perfectly.
Right, like you could,
like
perfect,
with like millimeter perfect.
tape to
Crazy.
tape.
Crazy.
It was tape to tape. Now maybe Heineman, put his, but I mean, I don't think you could put it better. And he was at full speed, right? He's skating full speed, head up,
how
and
long the pass was and how high he had to sauce it, and he caught everybody off guard. Like no one knew. Nobody knew he was going to pull that off, and he just, like you said, heads up the whole way. He saw Heineman, and just the thing went up, literally.
Crazy. Like you don't teach that.
No,
I don't think you can teach that skill of going full speed and your head up and you make a play like that. I don't know how you teach that. That's just pure talent. I mean, you could try to teach that to guys, and they might pull it off every now and then, I guess, but I don't know how many guys can pull that off. Right? So he's got that kind of talent. So we've gone through points prediction. All right. Other big name that was in that game, Patrik Laine. Our first look at Patrik Laine in a Habs uniform in a game situation. And now I had seen him, I think it was day one of them being on the ice. So second day of camp. And I saw some highlights and they're, they're scrimmaging, intra-squad scrimmaging type stuff. And I thought, Laine, he looks rusty. He looks a little slow. He looks rusty. You could say it might take him a little bit of time to get his game right. And then fast forward about 3 days to the game on Monday, and that's a different Patrik Laine. That's a guy that almost looks ready. He almost looks like he's back to full speed and making the moves. Like he's way different from that first day. Of just scrimmages. So Patrik Laine, I don't think it's going to take him long to be back up to. I would think by game one, Patrik Laine is going to be back up to ready to prove that he's still Patrik Laine.
Yeah, no, I really like what I saw out of him. I thought he was moving very, very well. He was skating very well, stick handling the puck well. He caught a lot of shots off. I mean, you could tell the shots still, they was ripping pucks
He
all night
ripped a
long.
few nice ones, man. He ripped a few nice ones.
Yeah, I
So the
mean,
shot's still there.
the
Yeah.
confidence is back there. I mean, he was, he was making zone entries. He was using his body. Um,
Yeah,
it's
I'm telling
really,
you,
really good to see. And yeah, man,
and
like,
his skating was good. Like there was speed. Like totally different look. Like he's gonna be good,
and like like we said, it's preseason, so like he's probably going at like 75%, 80%. So
right?
again,
That's
come regular, like if that's his 80% right now, if they're not playing for that long, when he dials it up for the regular season, man. And again, just that whole line. I mean, I thought Newhook looked pretty good. Doc was, like I said, it looked like he wasn't even injured. Like he didn't have that injury. Like he was banging people around. Shoved one guy out of the way going for a puck.
Yeah, well, he's strong, Doc.
I mean,
so yeah.
No, he really is. And I hate that people call him soft. I'm like, have you seen him skate around and shove guys out of, like, if he sees the puck and you're in his way, boop, like there's one hand.
But for fans of other teams that don't see a lot of Habs, you only go by what you hear. So yeah, I could see why they go by the injuries that they've heard. And
but you gotta watch him play. Like this is why we say, like, if he has a healthy season, man, he's gonna be such a good player. And I thought, he was shooting the puck well, he was passing it well, like.
And with two good wingers,
like he looked before he got injured last year. Like he looked again, like Doc, where
exactly.
Smokes, he's gonna break out. Like he's.
And now you put a serious winger on his, not just Newark, but you put a serious winger on that side, a guy that can score, a guy that has the still. I would think, and I've heard experts say this, they think he still has the 4th or 5th best shot in the league. So he hasn't lost any of that. So that line's going to produce. So yeah. So okay, so let's start off with Patrik Laine and go over something from the beginning. Did the trade make sense? What they did to acquire him?
Yeah,
a stupid question. I know.
And like I've said it a lot. We've said it a lot, talking about it since the trade happened. I was all about the Habs being the perfect destination for him when the rumors started heating up, and Rick, you and I were still kind of on the fence because we just didn't know.
Well, you were more for it
I always felt that the Habs were going to be the perfect destination for him.
Yeah, you were more for it than I was. I remember. Right. I was against it.
Because again, with the way the organization is now, with how the market, how he's said he wanted to play in a big market, but really just how the organization is now, they're just so well equipped to handle all sorts of situations. Like, they're gonna make him feel great. He's gonna be confident, and with the coach like Marty St. Louis, I thought was the perfect coach for him. And just to help that confidence and keep him in a good
aspect
and the culture in the locker room, like just everything about Montreal. I said,
yeah, there's one more aspect that I think was really important to him. And that is how the fans in the city, how important hockey is to them.
Right. I touched on that a little bit, how we wanted to come to like a big market. And honestly, in that first game, I don't know if you saw some of the video from in the Bell Center, but every time he touched the puck, the fans were roaring for him.
Yeah. And
I got to think, that must have lit him up. Like, you know what I mean?
And then it goes out in the city and all that, and how, like, meeting fans and how important hockey is to them. That's what he wanted. He wanted to be in a market that hockey was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's got an ego, right? And that part of him wanted that. And I guess he also knows he's that type of player that can, that fans love. But he has to know that. It can't be like, do they like me? Right. So this was very important to him. And I think Montreal, for all those things, is the right place for him.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And too, I mean, the culture in the locker room, like, again, there's great locker rooms in the league. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there really are. But again, for someone like Laine, with what he was dealing with, to come into a locker room with the guys that we have, the culture that we have, the character that we have and how excited they were. Wow, that was a voice crack and a half. How excited they were. When they reached, guys were reaching out to him when the trade happened. Like, he's got to just feel so much more confident in himself. So again, just so much happier being surrounded by a culture like that. A coach that's going to take care of him, an organization he knows will take care of him. And again, there's no slide of Columbus at all. But again, just with, obviously we know he didn't like it there. He didn't. Maybe it was the city. I don't know. But again, coming to a situation like Montreal, it's.
I mean, it's not a huge market, and I don't think I don't think the city is hockey mad like Montreal is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was really important to him. And there were other things, and part of it might have been the locker room. That's not. I can't really tell that, but I know he didn't dislike the city, but from what he said the right things so that Columbus fans would not be pissed at him, or the people of Columbus, But I don't think he liked the city. And,
no, I don't.
And it
I don't
wasn't
think he
hockey
did
mad.
either. And obviously at the time, the Gaudreau tragedy didn't happen, but you got to think too with what he had dealt with. If he had to go back to a locker room like that, like again, it just for his mental health, I don't think it would have been a good space for him. And again, obviously, everyone in the league is feeling that, but again, it's just another.
No, that too. But I think there were players obviously there that he really loved.
Right.
I think there was issues there in the locker room for him that were causing him some problems. From what I read, I don't know. I'm not saying this is all 100% the truth. This isn't the National Enquirer either, but it's from what I've read. And that I think those issues that he had there, I don't see him having that here. I don't.
No, me neither.
I don't see it because and one of the issues was definitely video games, but it was because apparently in his first few seasons first couple in Winnipeg, they didn't really know what to do with him, and they just said, go play, and they kept,
from what I read, they really, like a lot of the veteran guys, they didn't
take to him, or I don't know what it was, but there was something, and instead of him, I guess they encouraged him to be alone playing video games a lot. That's from what I gather. It created a problem, and I think part of what he went in for was that, and some mental issues of he wasn't happy where he was playing. I mean, it's simple as that. He was not happy there for whatever the reason. I don't know the exact reason. Mm-hmm. He clearly wasn't fully happy there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen here. And he's fully aware of the fact that if he struggles or whatever, that he's going to hear it from the fans. But he said that's kind of what he wanted. He wanted to be in a place where that if he's not playing well, the fans will tell him, because the fans are knowledgeable and they're hockey men. They're like that's what I take that he wanted, what he's looking for in a big market.
And I really think too, like, again, no disrespect to the Blue Jackets organization at all.
No, none.
But I do think being in that situation, and again, right, not being in really a hockey craze market like Montreal, and really that team really had no direction, still has really no direction. Like, I think for him too, he was probably thinking, well, I'm in my prime years,
Yeah.
Do I really want to, like,
I want to go to a place that has a chance to win in the future.
Yeah, or at least is on that track. And again, with the way the rebuild is going here, we're not that far off.
Not that far off. Believe me, players in the league know that. So yeah, Patrik Laine, the trade made sense. So all that stuff we said. I want to ask the next question. I don't know, I got lost there for a sec. And I think we answered it. But will he be affected by the absence, the last year, his absence from the game? But I think we've kind of answered that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He looked pretty good in that first game, preseason game. Now, we'll only know like when he starts, seasons here. But even in Columbus, the only season he wasn't good was that last season. Last season, it was the only season he had trouble. He didn't play every game because he had some injuries, right, in Columbus. But the games he played, he put numbers up,
Yeah, he's
right?
still a point a game guy.
Yeah, so I don't think this away from the game, I don't think it's going to affect that. So you're looking at a guy coming in here once he gets his confidence, which I think he's getting really quickly. This guy is if he's not a point a game player, he's really damn close. You know, he's had a few seasons of that already now. It's not like it's one season. He's had 3 or 4 seasons where if he was either a point a game, one he was just over, and the others he's right there. So I think that's the guy we're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm not saying he's going to put up 90 points, but man, I think he's going to put up in the 70s. I don't think that's ridiculous at all, especially with everybody that surrounds him on the team, right? The talent that we have here right now in Montreal and that is developing, I think is better than what's in Columbus right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's, he's going to put up some points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so question here, and we sort of touched on it. How do you think he's going to fit in there on that on that second line with his stupid came out on that second line with Doc and Newhook?
Oh, he's going to feel like a glove, man.
That is.
I mean, basically have another Slav except with the goal scoring. And what I mean by that is basically similar size, similar build. But again,
Laine is bigger.
Actually, yeah, no, he is bigger a little bit. Anywho, but yeah, no, I mean, that first game. I mean, there was some chemistry there. Like they're gonna be great.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna fit like a glove.
I know Doc is really excited to play with him,
mm-hmm.
and it showed. I think that first game showed they got chemistry.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see them make a lot of mistakes or. Whatever. It looked like they got communication and chemistry out there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to how that second line is going to work out. Do you think there's anybody else on the team that, do you think there's a chance that Newhook gets shifted somewhere else, or because I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anybody else that I would want to start the season on that line with them other than Newhook.
No, I think I'm with you there. And again, I think it's a lot of balance on that line. Same with the first line.
A lot of balance. That was gonna be my next point. They really fit well together. If you look at their strengths and weaknesses, I guess, but their strengths, I think it could really make a very strong line, right? You've got Newhook. No, I'm gonna say Doc, who can distribute the puck. Doc, who can also finish, right? He can score and he can distribute. You got a guy like Laine who can do the same thing, actually. Laine, good goal scorer, underrated as a playmaker, right? He's not going to be a guy like that's going to put up 40 goals and 20 assists.
Right.
He's going to put up a similar number of assists to goals, which is nice. And then you got Newhook, who's lightning fast, has the hands, has the moves that can really benefit from
pretty good passer in his own right too.
No, but he can really benefit, I think, from these two guys. I think Newhook's goal production might be higher than I have it pegged for because of the fact that with his speed, he could be at the net, and these guys moving around and passing the puck. I think that the production's gonna be really good.
Yeah, no, again, it's very similar to when Slav was playing with them, right? And again, with Doc and Laine too, those are your big bodies. Those are the guys, like you said, they'll be in the corner fighting for the puck. Newhook sees one of them get it, and he just beelines dots right to the net.
Yeah, I can imagine there's going to be a lot of that with Newhook there, right?
We saw that last year when Slav was on that line, right? It was very similar, and they scored a lot of goals that way. That first game.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing Montreal finally have a second top line that that teams can't overlook.
Right.
Which has kind of been the problem, right? We've had that first good line with, especially last year once Slav got there, but teams could overlook it on, can sort of you shut them down. You shut down. You shut down the rest of the team pretty much, right? Now you can't just shut down that first line.
Right.
Because that second line is going to be dangerous. And then I think also, if not even next year, but over the next couple of seasons, that third line is going to develop into, not as lethal, but you're going to have to be careful with that,
Yeah, because I mean, think about it, right? The next couple of years, I think 2 out of the 3 players on that line are Watt and Kapanen, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then
And Beck probably
yeah,
on the wing.
Flex, yeah.
That could be the third line going, down the road.
Yeah. No, I
And
mean,
now you got 3 scoring lines and then a checking line, and the third line is both, right? Kind of both, right? So yeah, I'd say it's a great setup. I think it's a great setup.
Yeah.
All right, so let's end up with Laine with points prediction for him. I've already got it out there: 40 goals, 35 assists, 75 points. I'm not going to change on that. I think.
I think you're pretty spot on there. Just to be different, I'm gonna go 40 and 40, but I think you're pretty spot on with 40 and 35.
Yeah. And you could be more right than me. It wouldn't surprise me if he hits if he gets those kind of numbers. Yeah, without a doubt. And from Laine, remember we heard that interview with him after he was traded here, right before he got to Montreal at all, and where he said, about 30 goals, would you? And he said, no, I'm not here to score 30 goals. I want to score 40 or 50. His goal is not.
The other important part was he said, but I don't really care how many goals I score as long as we win.
Right.
That was the really.
He was asked about 30 goals, and it was like, no, I'm not thinking that's not my goal to score 30 goals. If you're talking about how many I want to score, it's 40 or 50.
Right.
But if I only score 20 and we're winning, it's just as good. And that's an attitude that you want to hear from a guy like that.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? I believe him. It's not, I don't think he's just saying the right thing. I believe him when he says that.
Yeah.
And because also from Kent Hughes, when he said he spoke to him, and that, he believed him when he said that. So I believe that. All right, let's move on to 2 guys we just mentioned, and that's Oliver Kapanen and Owen Beck. They are, okay, I'm going to say this. There are probably 2 spots, maybe 3 spots to be won on this team. From what I can gather and what I've read, and from people who should know better than I do, there are 2 or 3 spots. One of them is potentially on that third line, and it is probably going to be between Kapanen and Beck if one of them is going to make it. It's going to be between them, I think. So you think that either of those 2 can make the cut and will make the cut?
Yeah, look, I think they both have a great chance. For me, I think it's right now Kapanen over Beck. That first game, and that was the first time, again, like a lot of us had seen Kapanen. I tweeted about it. I was just so impressed with his drive, his IQ, his ability in the face-off dot. Like, he wins a lot of face-offs.
Yeah.
And just the way he was going after pucks, not afraid to get.
Yeah, he's involved in the play.
Skilled with the puck too. He's got pretty good hands, pretty decent shot, but he was making things happen. I think he had a couple assists. He had 2 assists, but there was another goal that he didn't get an assist on, but he created it.
Right. Yeah. The kid, he makes things happen. Things happen when he's on the ice.
Yeah.
He's one of those kind of players. He's always seems to be involved in something going on the ice to the on the offensive zone.
Yeah, and his size, I think he's 6 foot, right? Like he's got
6'2", I think.
6'2",
no, I think he's 6'2". And so is Beck, by the way.
Yeah.
Beck also is 6'2".
Yeah.
So they're not small guys. And I heard someone saying something about Beck being small. He's not small. 6'2" is not small. So it's like, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. But yeah. Okay, so what I was reading today from Arpin Basu of The Athletic, that he feels, considering the guys here in camp, their contracts, And the fact that you can't just waive these guys and lose assets. I guess I'm talking about guys like Anderson and Dvorak, right? He kind of thinks Kapanen will go back to Sweden for one more year, and Beck will go to Laval for one more year to cook. You know, when you think about it, yeah, it kind of makes sense because what are they going to do? Say they Kapanen makes the team. What do they do with Dvorak?
Trade him.
Yeah, okay, but that's easier said than done, right?
No, I get that, but I mean, the other thing is if Kapanen continues to look this good, I don't know how you can send him back to Sweden. You know what I mean? Like it
at his age. No, I don't. I'm not saying I don't disagree with you. Like I don't agree with you, but I think there's more layers to it than that. That's all because it's about asset management, and that's the point he made. It's about asset management right now more than it is about merit, and I could see that. And listen, I don't know how Kent Hughes is looking at it, but they still have a little time. This year, they don't have to be all out to win, right? They don't have to. There's still some time. There's still some contracts that have to be moved, really. So, yeah, I could see. But I'll tell you, even if they don't make it, I do think Kapanen and Beck are probably earning the job this camp. One of them for sure, even if they don't get it, we'll look back and say he probably did enough though he should have got the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree.
And I don't know if Matt is froze. No, he just unfroze.
No, I agree. But again, it just with Kapanen more so than Beck. And again, I thought Beck looked good last night, but Kapanen looked really friggin' good.
Yeah, Kapanen, I'll agree. Kapanen was much more noticeable than Beck was last night, but I mean, Beck still had a good game.
No, he did. He had a really good two-way game. So I mean, so did Kapanen too. Yep. But I didn't think Devo had a good game. And that's the thing. Like I get the asset management part of it, but at the same time, like I said, man, I mean, Kapanen could also have a camp where it forces their hand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
The thing I don't know that can if they send him back to Sweden, can they call him back? Like if they trade Dvorak and then can they call him back? I don't think they can. So it's got to be a decision. You got to make that decision. But you're right. He could force the hand. And we only saw one game. It was good. Yeah, I mean, this kid, if he just keeps doing that and gets better through the camp, he might force their hand.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And again, with Dvorak, honestly, like, to move his contract, I mean, he's only got 2 years left on it, I think, or maybe 1. So.
Yeah, but you gave up a first rounder to get him, so you can't. Like if teams know, okay, now you got to trade him, you're not going to get full value when teams know you got to trade him. Yeah, that's the problem. But maybe if Kapanen looks that good, maybe you take a small loss to move the asset, get something for him. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I mean, going into camp, it was said that Kapanen is a guy to look out for, and man, he proved it in that first game.
No, I mean, he really did, and like I said, even if they take a small loss on the Dvorak trade, I mean, I don't think it'd be anything to like lose sleep over. Like, again, it's
I don't think they have. I don't think they're able to retain. Are they? Do they have a spot open or not?
No, I think they might. They might have 2. I'd have to look.
No, they don't have 2 because you got Allen 1 more year, and there's somebody else's contract. So they don't have 2, but they might have 1. Because they're gonna. I would think if they decide to keep Kapanen and move Dvorak, you're gonna have to retain. Don't you think?
I mean, depends on where he's going, but yeah, and
again, that's true. But there's not a lot of teams with money. There's not a lot of teams with money, so it's not.
No, I know. But again, at that point, like I said, if Kapanen really has that good of a camp and forces their hand, again, I think taking a small loss is more than acceptable. If he's that good. You know what I mean? Like if he,
I get where you're going.
you know,
Yeah,
so
I don't totally disagree. I don't know.
and again,
I don't know.
Knowing how Kent Hughes does his trades, I don't think it would even be that much of a loss if it's a loss at any, because I think he'd be able to squeak something out of there.
Probably. But you can't tell.
No, it's definitely something to watch.
I think the one thing, I don't think both Kapanen and Beck can make it out of cap.
No, and like I said, the way after the first two games, like I said, my money being on Kapanen, but I don't think Owen Beck's that far away from the NHL either. You know what I mean? I think after a year in Laval, I think for sure, like next season, he should make.
Yeah, I know. I think Owen Beck will
be
in Laval. I think Owen Beck will be in Laval, but I don't think there's room for both of them.
No,
definitely not. All right, listen. We got enough time. Yeah, because we're still under an hour. Let's take a quick shot at this. Is Logan Mailloux ready to join the big club? And now Mailloux was the only player in the first two games to play both games. So Matt and I we went over. We asked each other that question. Why is he the only one? And I came up with, I think they want to make sure if he's ready or not. Right? So he's getting a really good look to see if he's ready to make the team. That's my opinion. Is he ready? I don't know if I don't know.
I don't think so. Not yet. The first game, thought it was fine. Last night, like I said, first period and a half, 2 periods ish, didn't really look that good. But the third period, he was a lot better. It's still got some decision making, things he's got to work on. There's some errant passes, there's some passes he made that I probably wouldn't have.
Right.
But I think that considered, I did see some things I really liked. I thought he skated well. I thought defensively, for the most part, he looked better than he's looked the past few years in the AHL last year and in juniors, because we know he's had to work on his defensive game a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's still some polish needed there. The offensive zone, I really like what I saw. I thought he was distributing the puck pretty well. Again, and he's that type of defenseman. Like, he's an offensive defenseman. That's his game, and he did look very good in the offensive zone. But no, I just think he needs a little bit more polish. I don't think he's ready yet. But again, I mean, the potential's there. I mean, you can clearly see that. And again, with the guys that we have now, again, with Lane Hutson he's going to make the team. Like, no problem, no issue. Mailloux spending another year in Laval to kind of marinate a little bit and cook. Like, I think it would benefit him a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would, no issue there. But yeah, I think I don't think he's there yet. I think he's gonna get there, but he's still needs a little bit more polish.
Yeah, I tend to think though that unless they've already seen, kind of made up their mind this quickly, I don't know. I think he might be one of the last cuts. At camp, because I think they want to really give him a shot to try to make the team.
No, and again, that's totally fine. Again, there's parts of his game I really liked. Again, in the offensive zone, holding the blue line, distributing the puck, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he looked at home. I didn't think he looked out of place. It's kind of the transition game and a little bit more on defense where I kind of was like, all right, so there's still some of those, again, like
which is where
making the way where he was making errant passes and passing in traffic, stuff like that, which again, that's coachable.
Yeah,
he'll cook in the AHL.
But that's also playing time, right? He needs some more games in the, you got to work that out down there.
Yeah, but again, I mean, they're all coachable things, right? Like they're things that he'll get coached up and he'll be better. He'll be fine.
And as you said, he's an offensive defenseman anyway, so his defense really has to just be adequate.
Right, and like I said, I think for the most part it was. Like, I thought, especially the first game, I thought he was responsible. I didn't really see anything in the defensive zone that concerned me.
Yeah, you didn't notice him much in
Second game was, again, kind of Mets a little bit, but for me, again, it was more that passing into traffic, errant passes, kind of being maybe a little too quick to make a pass. But again, that's just coachable stuff. Like
his quick decision making has to improve a little bit, but that again is playing time.
Yeah, exactly. That's just playing time, coaching,
lots of minutes,
hanging around Hutson a little bit,
Yeah. No, but he'll need to, by playing not a lot of minutes down Laval,
and he'll
work that out.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. Without it.
I would tend to agree with that. I don't think he's going to make it. Also because there's not really a spot for him. If he makes it, it's because he forces their hand, I believe, right? So I don't think he's going to do that. And I think that's the only way he gets there. And we haven't seen it in the first 2 games. And now there's only 4, and I don't think he's going to play in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give him a break, right? So I don't think he's going to make it as far as this year. After that, though, I fully expect him and Reinbacher to be probably make it for after next camp. But this year, I think both of them need to cook a little more in the AHL.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to touch on Reinbacher a little bit, we still have a little bit of time. I thought he looked responsible defensively last night. Like, again, and that's his game in the defensive zone. We spoke about that. He's not going to be flashy, but he's going to be responsible. He's gonna defend well. He's going to use his body, use his length. I noticed that a few times last night. Like, he's got a really long reach, and I think that goes again to how good he is at kind of shutting things down, and he did that a little bit last night. So definitely a lot of things I like from him.
He's not.
I didn't really see any of those long stretch passes, but again, he's got to cook a little bit. But he did pass the puck responsibly.
I saw something that Marty St. Louis said about him, and then that he's going to go back to Laval, basically saying he still has a few things to learn, whatever. But everyone's path to the NHL is different. Everyone gets there in their own time, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
he's not making the team out of camp.
No,
but it's not a bad thing because I did not expect him to.
No, me neither. But like I said, again, there were a lot of really good things. Like I said, very defensively responsible, which we knew. Again, and length really, really well.
I think these are quality.
I think it's game time too because he didn't really play that many games last year. So again,
that's
true. A lot of it's playing time.
I think these kind of young quality defensemen like that, defensemen take a little longer, right? So I'm not expecting them to be, except for Lane Hutson. Lane Hutson's a different animal right there.
Yeah, that's Lane Hutson is a unique thing.
He's a different animal. He doesn't get put into what I'm about to say. But I think these guys need that extra time to fully be ready before they come up here, right? Because I think if you rush a guy like that, I don't know that like a guy like Reinbacher, maybe he doesn't reach his full potential because he's rushed. Right. And I don't want to see that happen to.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll happen. We know it's not going to happen with this management.
They're not going to rush him, and they're not going to rush him. I'm confident of that.
Right.
And that's the thing with Mailloux. If he doesn't make the team out of camp, I'm confident that he isn't ready, and that's why he didn't make it, because these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know how to evaluate, and I'm very confident in that. All right, I think that's it. Yeah. All right, so we've come to the end. Hopefully you guys like that. Don't forget, if you have anything you want to comment on, please, in the comment section, send us an email, anything like that.
Absolutely.
We're happy to receive that. Actually, would love to hear from you guys.
Always open for a nice Twitter combo.
Yeah, and there's Matt's Twitter. Mine is in the description of the video, so very easy to get in touch with us, so please do that. And next week, we will be back with another episode. We'll be see next week. We'll be
basically 2 days away from the preview, right? Because the week after that, it's hockey time.
Yeah, no, you're right. We'll probably do our. Well, it's interesting because season opens up on our recording night, so we still have to work out what we're doing with that. So we're next. Let's put it this way: next week might be our season preview, But it might be the week after. We're not sure because we haven't worked that out. But yeah, next.
Yeah, if any. Well, the thing is, it's a back-to-back. We open with a back-to-back.
Yeah, I know, but it opens on Wednesday and Thursday, right? So Wednesdays are
yeah. I mean, if
night.
anything, maybe might just have to record on Tuesday. Just do
that's what I'm saying. We haven't worked it out yet.
We'll figure it out.
But if we can't work that out and we have to skip 1 week, we're going to have the season preview next week. If not, it'll be the week after. But we'll talk about how camp is going, how the games went. We'll have lots to talk about because hockey's back, so that's not a problem. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Hopefully you like this. So thanks for watching. Really do we appreciate having you guys, and I'm looking forward to the 2 games versus Toronto. That's the next one's coming up. Don't forget, on Talking Habs, I'm doing both games. And, we'll have fun watching those. I'm not sure what Toronto's lineup is going to be, but I'm really curious or anxious to see if Matthews and Laine, because they went 1 and 2 in that draft that they were in. And
I'm really excited for opening night.
Yeah, so that and opening night's going to be fantastic.
I cannot wait. Hockey's back.
Yeah.
Love is in the air. We're very happy. Laine Hutson's a Montreal Canadian. What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? The down period for the Montreal Canadiens is about to be over in the next 2-3 years, and it may be as soon as this season. So we're anxious for that. So anyways, we're going to stop babbling. Thanks for watching. We'd love to have you. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, and have a great week, and we'll see you next week. So till then, ciao, everybody.